Welcome to A Plate for All. I'm V, and today we're going to be taking a look at dirty rice. Alright, so we'll start with 2 cups of jasmine rice. Get all that in there. Next, we're going to go with 2.5 cups of unsalted chicken broth. We'll add in 1 bay leaf. And we're going to add in about 2 or 3 pinches of salt. Now, the reason I use unsalted chicken broth is because I like to be able to control the saltiness, the sodium within the rice itself. If you use salted chicken broth, it can get too salty. Now that we have our rice in a rice cooker, we can just push cook on it and let it go. If you don't have a rice cooker, that's okay. You can use any pot with a lid. You're just going to have to kind of watch it, stir it around a bit to make sure that the bottom doesn't burn. Now, if you have a rice cookers cost anywhere like 10, 15 bucks. You don't need something expensive. You can just put it in, push cook, and walk away from it. And that's what makes this dish a little easier to work with. While our rice is cooking, we're going to start prepping our vegetables. We're going to need 2 red bell peppers or green bell peppers. We're going to need 2 small or 1 medium yellow onion, 4 stalks of celery, and 4 cloves of garlic. We're going to mince the garlic, and we're going to chop up the onions, peppers, and celery. Well, it looks like the rice is ready. Yep, now that the rice is done, we're going to get started cooking the vegetables and the ground beef. We'll start by heating up a ½ tablespoon of canola or vegetable oil over medium heat. Once our oil has gotten nice and warm, we're going to start by adding in a ½ pound of ground beef. While the ground beef is cooking, we're going to season it with a ¼ teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. And we're going to hit it with a pinch of salt. Be sure to stir it around. We don't want any of it to burn. And once the ground beef is mostly cooked, and we can still have a little bit of pink in it, that's all right, it's going to continue to cook, we're going to add the vegetables. So we're adding in our celery, our peppers, our onion, and our garlic. Now we're going to keep this cooking over medium heat. With our veggies in, we want to add in another ½ teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. And we're going to hit it with a little more salt. If you're worried about the ground beef overcooking before the veggies are ready, you could always cook them separately. You can cook the ground beef first, finish it up, take it out, and then add the vegetables and cook that separately. I cook them together just to make it a little easier for myself. But again, if you're worried about them not being cooked at the same time, do them separately. So our veggies have been cooking for about 10 to 15 minutes. We are looking for our onions to be kind of translucent. We want our ground beef to be fully cooked. And now we're going to add in our rice. So I'm going to take the rice from earlier and just dump it all in the pot. Be sure to mix it around. We really want to combine our vegetables, our beef, and our rice. Now what I like to do at this point is I like to add just a splash of chicken broth. It helps keep the rice kind of moist, prevents it from overcooking while we mix it around. Prevents it from burning. And we're going to hit it with another quarter teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. Now we don't need to add any more salt. We've already salted the rice earlier. But this just helps to ensure that we get some more of that flavor into our rice. One thing we want to be careful of is our Cajun seasoning. We don't want to use too much of it. We don't want to use too little. Make sure you're tasting this as you go. Cajun seasoning can be overpowering if we add too much of it. So just be sure to taste it. Make sure this is to your liking. If it's a little too hot, we can add a little more salt or a little more black pepper in place of Cajun seasoning. And here we go. We've got our dirty rice. It's already made and it's smelling real good. Now, I like to pair this with either Cajun shrimp or Cajun baked chicken. Check my other videos so that you can take a look at those dishes and see if you want those to accompany this one. Thanks for watching, and remember, the kitchen's always open and there's a plate for all.